News at 2. The headlines: Alliance of Fishermen urges federal government to declare state of emergency on Niger Delta environment. Political stakeholders charged to enlighten people on the dangers of electoral violence. India accuses China of violating border consensus agreement. Today's commentary is on fighting corruption in NDDC. Please don't consume any mixture claiming to be COVID-19 vaccine. There is no approved drug or vaccine for COVID-19 yet. These substances can cause harm. We'll be with you shortly after this. My name is Rachel Ona. Now the news in full. The federal government has been urged to declare a state of emergency in the environment of the Niger Delta region. An alliance of fishermen in Ebano local government area, an oil-bearing community in Akwa Ibom State, started this during a community dialogue in the area. Correspondent Miriam Daniels tells us more. Meanwhile, residents of Onitsha Ubo in Delta State have expressed worry over the high price of gari, rice, plantain, and other food items in the market. Correspondent Happy Ehinze, who spoke with some residents in the market, brings us the details. PS School Road have cried out to the Yenagoa local government and the Bausa state government to construct the road to ease their suffering. Mr. Flint Williams, who resides along the school road, in an interview to correspondent Amos Owefie, said the deplorable state of the road has destroyed vehicles and crippled businesses and social activities in the area. Mr. Williams said the residents decided to embark on rehabilitation of the road because all appeals to draw the attention of the state government had failed, and lamented that criminals have taken advantage of the bad road to rob residents of their valuables. The residents, Mr. Festus Onwa, said they had to levy themselves to rehabilitate part of the road to alleviate their suffering. Chairman Keke Drivers Union School Road Unit, Mr. Jonathan Atuburu, said the impassable road had crippled their business, noting that constant maintenance of their tricycles had affected their profit. A stakeholder in the area, Mr. Mick Kokorifa, explained that residents conceived the idea of rehabilitating the road when all appeals to government and interventionist agencies failed. Mr. Kokorifa also said the bad road had negatively impacted on residents, particularly small businesses. Political parties and other stakeholders have been urged to assist in enlightening the people on the dangers of electoral violence ahead of September 19 governorship election. The Assistant Inspector General of Police in charge of Zone 5, Mr. Paul Yakadi, gave their advice while speaking on election security, organized for chairmen of political parties and other critical stakeholders in Benin City. Correspondent Solomon Obozenya brings us details. In the creative industry in River State have identified some gaps that have hampered the growth of arts in the state. After one-day workshop on the role of arts and crafts in economic development of River State, the stakeholders who were drawn from the academia, creative arts, and Ministry of Culture and Tourism at the workshop put together by South Zonal Office of the Nigerian Export Promotion Council called for funding of the creative industry as a non-oil export sector that will boost the country's economy. Correspondent Desire Lotson gives us the details. You're listening to Radio Nigeria South Zone is at 2. Here are stories and the bulletin so far. Alliance of Fishermen urges federal government to declare state of emergency on Niger Delta environment. Political stakeholders to enlighten people on the dangers of electoral violence. Still ahead, India accuses China of violating border consensus agreement, plus business, entertainment, sports, and commentary. Do stay with us. Welcome back. We'll now start with business news. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says banking sector's credit to the private sector rose by 757 billion naira to 30,000.189 trillion naira as of July 2020, compared with the 29.432 trillion naira recorded at the end of June. For details of this and more on business news, let's join Austin Ine. And then a look at the foreign scene. India has accused China of violating the border consensus reached between them during recent peace talks. For more on foreign tidbits, let's join Nkem Ugochukwu. In the world of entertainment, Nigeria movie producers hail Governor Kowa over Delta Film Village as tweets confirming Chadwick Boseman's death is now like the most liked of all times. Kuro Berezi brings us up to speed with the details. No. Sporting scene. World Athletics governing body awaits Court of Appeals decision before declaring its stand in AFN's field as La Liga declared Lionel Messi Barcelona's player. Austin Isaac has more on sports. The commentary. Today's commentary is on fighting corruption in NDDC, as written by Emmanuel Njoku of Radio Nigeria Treasurer FM and read from our studio. That commentary on fighting corruption in NDDC was written by Emmanuel Njoku of Radio Nigeria Treasurer FM and read by Anietie Akpan. To end Radio Nigeria South Zone News at 2, a recap of the major items. No time for all the ceremony.
Normal formality.
An alliance of fishermen has urged the federal government to declare state of emergency on Niger Delta environment. Political stakeholders have been charged to enlighten people on the dangers of electoral violence. India has accused China of violating border consensus agreement. That's the news as edited by Collins Barangwi and the production team. My name is Rachel Ona. Thank you very much for listening. Good afternoon.